It's funny. It's weird to say, wow, this player has been looking so much better since they lost a series. But that's truly what happened. When Solar lost to Maru the first time at TSL, because did he play us? No, he didn't. When he lost to Maru first time in the TSL, right, to get sent technically back home, but then some players dropped out, so he got something to play from anyways. He got a chance to play on and go to Utrecht anyways. He lost to Maru, but honestly, everyone who's not named Solar or Dark loses to Maru pretty handily. So he looked very good. But Byun, he is throwing us some shenanigans in this game. It's going to be 3 racks, 2 in the natural, 1 in the main. It's going to be 3 racks Reaper here on Moondance because, folks, Moondance, you look at how many maps or bases there are on this map, and you say, wow, it feels like a big map. It's a 31-second rush distance, natural to natural, as the SCV flies, or I guess jets around. I mean, do we call that hover from the SCV flying? I don't know. But he's going to take advantage of how quick the rally is, natural to natural. And he's going to run Reapers onto the other side. It's not quite a proxy, but it is still a lot of pressure indeed. As now 2 Reapers on the way at a time. There's the 3rd. Soul's going to scout. Oh, there's a Reaper. That shouldn't really concern him all that much because, well, a single Reaper is fine. It's a grenade dropping 1 drone out of creep, but the one that is getting low is, of course, the one that's staying on creep. So it should be fine here for Byun as he just put a little pressure on. If he gets lings, actually, that's the big deal. We're going to see him commit to that one, I think, a little bit, but more Reapers will arrive. And these lings already getting rather low. Well, this is where Solar starts to get a little bit concerned. 2 Reapers are still, sometimes you'll see that happen is, oh, drone number 1 does go down. But when the 3rd Reaper arrives, and when we start to see them happen more and more and more, 6 Reapers, they one-shot drones, they one-shot lings. They start to put tremendous pressure on Queens. We're going to see the creep tumor go down. Grenade is going to keep the Queens back as hard as well as they can. But now we're on, what's that, 5 Reapers diving. Queens actually don't have energy, but you got to be careful because the lings, they still represent threat, even if you're not really worried about them so long as you can kite. 1 Reaper will fall, but Byun, all these Queens are so low. He's going to get the low one. No, not quite, but more Reapers, they continue to arrive, and now both Queens tremendously low, but Reapers dive on top of creep. That's where things get a little bit scary. More lings are on the way. 1 Queen is dead. Speed still about 30 seconds away. Solar, he went for the extended or the modified flash. He went for the 4-minute speed build. It means he just has to last so much longer under this committed pressure from Byun. He has to build more lings that he really does not want. And the Reapers, they get off creep once again. Oh, the Queen, it's low. It's 2nd Queen dead. Byun finding so much value here, adding in 3 more Reapers. But he knows he's approaching the 4-minute mark. He knows speed will be done soon. The Reapers continue to move out on the map, and honestly, it's 17 lings. 17 lings can deal with 8 Reapers, or 16 lings, I guess, because there's the one scouting, 1 at home. But it's still spooky years. Oh, that's a dead Queen. Okay, well, no, lings are maybe a little bit too scary. As grenades are actually going to get one of these Reapers killed, but still, good kite backwards. Now the Reapers dive on top of the Queens. No energy, so it's just dead. In the middle line, they were going on the high ground. Byun says, hey, hi. This is fun. We're going to see a lot of workers go down now. As he has the critical mass of the Reapers that he just targets them down. Lings show up, he kills them too. And Byun, well, he's just going to say, you know what? You don't have enough lings here, my friend. It's not good enough. It's only 5 Reapers now, so it's not one shot anymore. Actually, no, this might still be 6. No, it is 5. But he's just sitting where there is no creep. So yes, ling speed is good, and it will knock these down eventually. But Byun has found so much value with his Reaper play, even as they eventually fall. We're going to take a look at how much died in just a second. But 3 Queens, some drones, tons of lings. 34 lings, 5 drones, 3 Queens for 11 Reapers. You do the math. It's a lot to a little. Although the interesting thing is that, oh wait, never mind. Okay, I was like, the interesting thing is it's the math is a little wrong, and then it's 550 minerals and 550 gas, so it's 1100 mineral or 1100 resources. There we go. Marines on the map once again. These queens do not have energy. Is there stim done? Yeah, there is. One queen's just going to go down. Creep teamer's knocked down as well. A second queen was going to get transfused, but that just keeps it alive for, what, 10 seconds longer. There's just not enough here. We're going to see the Overlord go down. Solar not supply block, though, because he just lost 2 queens. And Byun, he's not... honestly, I think Byun could have committed there even harder, but he said, you know what, it's fine. I know you're going to build more lings. I want my medevacs to run onto the other side of the map. I want them to have healing. I want them to be able to have some sustain there. So they're going to sit behind some mineral lines. Queen's off creep here. Balin's getting morphed in. A third set of, or a third, like 7 Marines gets added in. Marines get healed, and we're going to see some Balins get targeted down pretty quickly. Queen's dead here as well. 1, 2, 3. Well, actually, the other 2, they're not going to get targeted down just yet. Ling's looking for the surround. Byun said, look at me. I can target things down. My micro, in fact, people have said it's very good. People have called me Micro Jackson for a reason. And then the main base he's going to go is this another Overlord that's going to fall victim eventually before the Queen and everything else. Byun, he is warmed up, and Solar is not. He takes game 1. I don't think we see mass Reaper shenanigans any more than one in the game in this series, but it worked for Byun in game 1. So at the very least, he's got a map to play with now. Again, we're probably not going to see it again. That's just not how things work for the most part. You kind of, if you throw a cheesy build out, so one's a serious thing. Unless you're SOS, 2-gating hero out of a tournament for $100,000, winner take all. And then you do it 3 times in a row. Or 4 times? Did he do it every game? I think he did. I think he did it 3 times in a row. I think he changed things up. I can't remember. Can't quite remember. So what I'm curious about, though, is whether Solar went for delayed clash. He didn't, by the way. 3-3 on gas. Well, no. Yeah. He will delay his speed then. Pulling drones off gas just a little bit at 50-ish. So it means that, once again, we will have that 4-minute speed. As Solar says, you know, Byun, first of all, Cosmic Sapphire is a massive map. Natural to natural rush distance is pretty long. I'm not too worried about your Reaper play, and even if I was, well, it's a big map. So... playing the double blind delays the speed in favor of getting much more mineral income, and well, hey, it's gonna work out for him pretty well because Byun just went for a Reaper expand. Reaper looking for a little bit of something, but well, actually he may nope. Okay, was not quite able to sit on top of where the spore wanted to get made. And he will not be able to get a drone. And his Queen pops out. Well, that's gonna be that. Notice the Reaper though hasn't taken too much damage, so technically he could dive in, maybe get on top of a creep tumor, but Queen's gonna push it out a little bit further. Reaper, though. Solar's much more on top of his Reaper defense. Okay, that's not quite fair. I was going to say he's much more on top of his Reaper defense, but let's be real, that was a very different game in game number 1. But Byun, what does he have in store for us? Well, it's something a little bit cheeky in the other direction. There's a Fusion Core on the way. We get to do the Fusion Core dance. Battle Cruisers are going to be the name of the game. Well, I mean, I guess it technically could be Range Liberators, but let's be real. Let's remain in the range of reality. It's going to be battlecruiser play. And I wonder now, as we keep an eye on what the gas timing is on the natural, whether Byun opts into mech on this map. I doubt it. I don't think I've ever seen Byun play mech. But who knows? Hellion's now going to try to dive into the natural. Speed is done now, but there are only 4 lings, so Byun is going to find value here. There's just really no stopping it. Oh, he does not get the block. He tried. 7 workers have gone down, and that really pays for itself. 2 shots, of course, on the drones, but he's going to make it 8, and that's going to be the extent of it, but still. 8 drones go down. More important, well, almost as important. Byun sees that there are only 6 queens on the map. 7th one on the way, and BC's about halfway done. Byun is looking as good right now against Solar as Max Pax looked against Byun in those first couple games. It's just... he finds value. He kind of looks at Solar and says, I am going to do damage to you here, and he does it. And this will not be mech, by the way, just so we're clear. BC will pop out. We're gonna have to see how many Byun chooses to get, but he's adding additional barracks behind this. There is no, we passed that 430 mark, no double gas in the natural, and stims on the way. So Byun, just a little bit of a different method for harass. The BC teleport's really out of vision of things. Normally you kind of just TP on top, but this means it's going to take a little bit longer for Solar to rotate his queens where they need to be. One worker will go down, and while single queens don't deal with a battlecruiser, it's when you bring them all together that they are worth a lot more. So Byun on a bit of a run by, a little bit of a flyby, I guess. 6 workers go down. He's going to get 7. He's going to get 8. He's going to get 9. And that is far more than a BC battlecruiser is ever supposed to get. And he's going to get some overlords on the way out, which will again not supply box Solar, but it is going to be annoying. And if he does not replace them, we'll supply block him eventually. So Solar builds more queens, he builds more drones, he does what he can to defend, as the battlecruiser eventually is going to get forced out. Meanwhile, Hellion's just knocking creep down. But does Solar read that this is mech because of this? And by the way, these queens have a lot of energy, so the overlord should not die. Nope, there we go, a couple more workers. Byun is just, he is having his way with Solar in this game, and it is kind of disgusting. 8 more drones go down, line them up, second shot, and does not get it. This battlecruiser has 12 kills. I guess one of them is an overlord, but even still, 25 drones have died this game for Solar. He's still on above 60, but that's just because he's been spending almost all of his larva into his drones. Now the battlecruiser continues to find value. Teleports back home on 40 HP and says, yeah, I'm happy. I'm going to add value this entire game. And by the way, Solar did not scout that fusion core. And then, of course, Byun also, he did teleport behind in the dead airspace where Solar would not necessarily be aware of it. But let's be real, folks. The battlecruiser got 13 kills, and that is far more than it is ever supposed to. But really, the damage that Byun has done this game has been these 4 Hellion hit squads. As it drop on the bottom side, he gets 4 more drones on the. Byun is just, he's got a thing against the proletariat. He does not want these workers to have safe working conditions. He said, no. OSHA's not a thing. Not on my watch, at least. It looks like that medevac is, well, it's gonna survive, I think. Yeah, Byun boosts away. BC looking for a little bit more. Queen's got to transfuse, and they will force the battlecruiser back. But continued damage, drifts and drabs over time. Solar, he has 4 bases, and he does have a 5th base on the way. Okay, Byun, you do have to be careful with battlecruiser. You don't want to lose it, and it looks like he will lose it, so that's something. You know, I guess he was paying attention elsewhere. I think he's... Oh, no, he's not going to lose the drop. He's going to say, oh, there are queens, there's creep. Maybe I can find some value, because the queens have used their transfuses. He's going to deny the 5th base, knocks the queen down, knocks down a lot of creep tanks up. And I guess we can say we're happy about that, if we are fans. But losing the battlecruiser, you didn't really have to. And maybe once you're maxed out, you don't want it, but Byun is far from maxed out. He's only on 130 odd supply, but I mean, his economy is just roaring like gangbusters. He's in a very happy place. Just, you know, keep the battlecruiser alive. And no, I don't think that was something he did on purpose. Where he said, I'm sacrificing my BC. It's more that he was micring elsewhere, I think, as the Widowmine is going to not burrow. Good splits here from Byun. Widowmine, friendly fire on the backside, but now all the banelings that joined the fight to start are dead. Only 3 on the map right now, but looks like 4 more are morphing in, but the Hydras and the Lings, it's going to be enough. Whoa, Widowmine. Oh, okay, we're fine. That Widowmine looked like it was going to drag his damage into all the Hydras, but the baneling runs just far enough back that we're going to be fine. He's Byun, 4th base on the way, but despite the damage that Byun has done in this game, and it is significant, Solar has been trading rather well recently. He's only down by about 700 resources lost. And look at the supply. Solar's double the army supply of Solar. Or Solar's double the army supply of Byun. Losing that battlecruiser was worth a lot. Losing those 30 Marines worth a lot. And yeah, 31 drones have died, but Solar now he's on 86 workers. He's on 5 bases. He's got 2-2 about halfway done, timed up pretty nicely with Byun. But at the end of the day, I'm not really sure how much it really matters, because while the supply does not lie, and Solar is up 50 supply, I think we're going to have Byun take us into the late game. And part of the reason that Byun's supply is not insane is because he has been committing to everything that is not an army. He's been buying factories and bases and tech and everything else. So I don't think we're going to see Byun get too aggressive here. Solar's going to start to grow pretty significantly. But folks, buckle in. I think this game is going to go rather late indeed. You gotta wonder, because the amount of damage that Byun got, I don't know if that's the smartest move, but also, I mean, it is hard to break a Zerg, especially on a map like this that is so long. As these Lings are just going down, eventually the Hydras arrive, so Byun has to pick up, go home. But now Solar's saying, look, I'm maxed out. My 2-2 is just about done. I want to do something here. The Wind Mine finds no value, but their tanks on the back line, and that's a ton of bio here. 2-2 just about done. I don't know that Solar, despite the supply advantage that he has, I don't know that he can break in here. There's now +1 mech attack on the way. We do want to see 3-3 on the way for Byun. That is something that is missing. But he says, you know, for the time being, I'm going to build more command centers. I'm going to build more ghosts. That is much better use of my gas. And, I mean, theoretically, would you rather be going into 1-1 mech here, or would you rather be going 3-3 bio when the late game that you're trying to get into is effectively 4 Hellbat Ghost anyways? But for now, Solar milling in on the middle of the map. Bio runs forward. He's going to have to run backwards now into this massive tank line. No Vipers here. Bailey's look to crash on forward, but they're all going to go down. But there are more where that came from. Tanks will fall, but Byun takes a wonderfully cost-effective trade. Hydra's die on the backside as well. Snipes on the Overseer as it runs away. So take a look at that fight. I mean, that was pretty expensive there for Solar. Twice as many minerals. A little bit more gas. The Vipers are now on the field. As by the way, Byun is on triple factory. He's building 3 tanks at a time. And his supply is starting to get up north of 160, north of 170. And the technicality of this army is just massively increasing. Lings are going to run forward, try to eat as many tank shots as they can. Now, here come the Banes, but there are so many tanks here. And Hydra Bane does not fight into this one. Look at this concave from Byun. He says, aha! You think you can go high ground against me? Back the hell up, buddy. It's not going to work. So yes, Byun lost about 20 supply, but Solar lost a whole lot more. And if we look at resources lost, it was pleasantly equal for Solar just a couple minutes ago. Now it's 3K. But of course, the other thing we got to point out right now is because Byun has moved into this Turtle Terran style after getting all that damage done, he has let Solar unfettered access. Solar is going to have the rich gas base on the north side. He has the gold base on the bottom left, and his creep spread is starting to encroach onto Byun's 5th, which can be scary if Byun had any intentions of moving out beyond his 5 bases anytime soon. But as of right now, it just means reinforcements are a little bit faster. Lings Bane is trying to roll in. This planetary may be a bit under threat as we're going to see the blinding clouds go down, but the tank count is staggered so well, but the base will die. Bane will continue to run forward, and Byun is just dead. Okay. So, game 1, we saw Byun go Heavy Reaper, and it worked. Well, that's, again, I think that's the kind of thing you show once a series. Game 2, we saw Byun get 31 workers off of 4 Hellions and a battlecruiser. Or 8 Hellions, I guess, and a battlecruiser. Just tons and tons of damage. And then Solar came back because Byun gave him really too much space. I think that when you get that much damage done against a Zerg, letting them go back into it is just not the way you want to do it. I think it is probably a lot better to go for an Arax or something, but it's also Cosmic. And Cosmic's a big map. So maybe Byun just didn't think he had the right positions and the right setup to be able to run across the map with 8 barracks and try to kill his opponent. But it also shows you, I was talking before the series about how good Solar is, about how his TVZ has been looking so good as of late. Well, I think that's perfect. He lost, it should have been game-ending damage, 31 drones before like the 7-minute mark. To not like just to a battlecruiser and some Hellions. For now, we see Solar. He was able to get the 3rd base on the triangular position. When normally, when you talk about Zerg's expand patterns, they want to be linear. They want to say, well, I don't want your drop distance as the Terran to be less than my ability, than my running distance. is kind of the thing. So technically, Byun can drop high ground, low ground, and find a lot of value. It's just a pain for the Zerg to deal with. But, as by the way, this looks like it's going to be a Marine Hellbat timing. I think we're probably going to see the armory soon enough. In this map in particular, that third base is much quicker to the Terran third. It is much more pushable. So you take the triangular third, pure and simple, because it's so hard to push into. Maybe not a Hellbat timing. As I expect to see well, I guess the 4 minutes is kind of that timing there. But seeing the medevac early and the Hellions and the Marines kind of makes me think it's like, you get 4 to 6 Hellions, you get those Marines, and it is that Marine Hellbat timing. But I guess not, as he will supply block Solar just a little bit. And a Banshee behind this. So I guess this is technically Hellion. Oh, okay, there's the armory. I was like, wait a minute here. This seems like a little bit too committed here for Byun. But armory is now on the way. He's going to add a Banshee onto it too. So this is a very committed timing. Beyond of that, of course, Stim getting added in, as I think someone said, this is most likely it's going to be a 2-base all-in. But it's going to be a triple-barreled 2-base all-in. Marine drops, that's really not getting a lot, but forcing units out is, ooh, medevac. Actually got to be very careful here, because this is what is going to power the Hellbat timing. Taking damage on the medevac early is not a good thing. So in fact, it looks like the medevac is, well, actually, no, he's unloaded. He's not going back home. Banshee on the right side. Do we have spores? We do. Actually, spores are a pretty nice position to defend against the Banshee. There we go, back on the mineral line. And with the Queen here, a Spore and Queen should be enough to defend this. But 2 workers go down to start. Queen's actually rotating over to deal with the Banshee, which is the time for the Marines and the Hellbats on the left side to try to find some value. And actually, the Banshee with Cloak here with no Spore just yet, getting damage on the Queens early on. Marines and Hellbats not finding too much value just yet. And the medevac, by the way, is still about 50% HP. So Solar is handling this incredibly well. He's handling this incredibly well. And it looks like Byun is not going to... He got a couple drones. Sure. But I don't know how much he's going to get more than that. Now, the Hellbats and the Marines will show up once again. They're all healed up here. But there are Banes on the field now. You don't break this anymore if you are Byun. He's got his 3rd base on the way, so not necessarily a 2-base all-in. Weird opener from Byun. Weird opener from Byun. It just doesn't really seem to be finding much of anything. We have 2 Banshees on the field, and they've gotten a grand total of, I think, 5 drones. The Hellbat Marine on the left side, it's annoying, sure, but Banelings and Queens are out. It's just not finding all that much, even as Stim is done. Target fire, maybe Banes will... Whoa, one will go down, but still 2 more are there. Hellbat falls, and if there's a moment where the Queens get on top of the medevac, I mean, this push is dead. Now, Solar is being rather conservative with how he's... Well, never mind. I was going to say he's being conservative with how he chooses to play, going Carapace and delaying that +1 significantly, but really it's not all that much. As Banelings run forward, Byun, good target fire there, looking for the surround. Second set of Marines shows up, and suddenly this army that Solar has is not prepared to defend. The Queen's on the right side. They have to defend the 4th base, and the gas will again will go down. Banelings running forward, but Banelings speed is not yet done here. Byun's target fire is not going to be enough. Marines are too damn low. Lings that clean everything up. There's a Hellbat and a tank and a Reaper. All that reigns. But Solar, he is okay with this, right? He just has to hold on. His economy is much better. His tech is, well, tied out a little bit. But when Baneling's speed is done, Byun's push is really going to stall out. He's got a 4th base. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too critical of Byun. But this build is weird. This build is very, very weird. Now a tank sieging up on that position. This is what we talked about with how hard this pace is to hold. That tank position is disgusting. But Solar is 1-1 is about 20 seconds off, 20, 30 seconds, maybe a little more And Byun's 1-1 is complete. So Solar is going to try to sandbag this push as long as he possibly can. Bring all the queens over, get good transfuses, build a lot of hydras maybe eventually. I mean, not for the moment. It's all about the Ling Bane right now. And just wait for his upgrades. Because once those upgrades complete, he can swallow this. But before the upgrades, 1-1 versus 0-0 is a pretty strong advantage there for the Terran player. So 1-1, about 15 seconds left. Well, Carapace is now done, but attack, 10 seconds on the way. Hydra's getting added. Their upgrade, their range is a little bit ways off, but now Byun stims in. This base is getting rather low, so Solar says, it's now time for me to take the fight. I got this round set up here. Baneling's on the right side getting targeted down, but there are plenty of Lings really to get this round on top of everything. Tanks are going down, but slowly. Baneling's, they ran into where the tank was, and that meant they took another shot, but still, Solar does clean everything up. He's got his 5th base on the way behind. This scrape spread is not great. Let's be fair, but he cleans it up rather easily. The gap between 2-2 and his 2-2 is just about the same as 1-1, so it's not like Byun expanded his lead right there. And this push that Byun has now, I mean, transfuses at the pro level, yeah, the queens take effectively no damage, but Byun, at this point, he realized that he's in a game state where he can not win a head-up fight, but he can certainly multi-prong his opponent to death if he is good enough. So, Ling's Bane, they run forward. Good splits there from Byun. Knock down all the Banes. Good target fire. The tank. Oh, he's getting so many of these Banes. They're all going to go down. At least there's one remaining, but Byun, his target fire, he gets such a cost-effective trade. He will lose this. Well, maybe he doesn't, actually. It's only Hydras here. What a trade there from Byun. Look at resources last year. It's double almost for Byun, better than Solar. That fight on the left side was disgusting. That was so good. And now the Liberators joining the fray. Tanks as well. Lings and Hydras are going to try to deal with the push on the right side, but really we should just see Byun pick up, run away. Queens start to fall, and now the bio. Okay, it looks like a lot of Marines died, but now the bio stimming in on the left side here with tanks with Liberators to set up. This surround from Solar is going to be difficult indeed. Ling's trying to get on top of the tanks immediately. The bio stimming backwards. Baneling's really, those are actually good connections on the backside, but even still, I don't know that there's enough here. 30 army supply lead for Byun, still has the tanks. Liberators are dead, and his 2-2 now complete. He's got an upgrade lead. Not only does he have that supply, he's doubling the army supply. But Byun needs his reinforcements to join across the map. That army that he pushed through, the army that he took those trades with, it's very low. It's all in the orange. He needs time for medevacs to be made. Actually, I don't think he has that many medevacs on the field. He's only got 3 because he's building these Liberators. It does mean that this really, when stims happen, the damage sticks. But this army from Solar is just not all that scary anymore. Not with the tanks behind, not with the Liberators here, just adding that zone denial. With +1 mech done as well. I mean, he one-shots, he 2-shots Banes. So Byun micro backward. He kind of stims his entire army, which is unfortunate, but he just runs forward, says, "Ha! You're dead, Solar." He saw the opening. He killed him. Byun, 2-1. I love how hard it is to find the search bar on Liquipedia Mobile. So currently, I'm going to pull up the actual stats. It is, yeah, okay, so it's moved up a little bit for the Terran. Terrans have a 42% win rate on Waterfall across 103 professional games. As played in DreamHack, GSL, in TSL, in Home Store Cup, there we go, Valencia, and WTL. Which is kind of crazy. Like, let's be, everyone complains about how much Waterfall is a Terran map. It's like, well, the stats don't back that up. Now, Data C is a very, yeah, it's a Zerg map. I mean, it's big, so that tells you generally that it is a Zerg map. But with the advent of this late game Turtle Terran, it's been kind of, I've been asking myself the question of whether any map that lets you go to late game consistently is good for Zerg right now. But because of all the high ground positions in the middle of the map, and how many bases there are, the Zerg can get to that ultimate Broodlord late game composition and then abuse the high ground to actually take good fights. Because in the open field, you do not take good fights against Hellbat or Ghost. But if you're able to get these vision advantages in these high ground positions, then you are actually able to make something happen. So in the ultra late, this is a map that Zerg can take advantageous income on. Can steal bases from the Terran pretty easily. Or not pretty easily, but well enough. And again, Broodlords can fight better than they can on other maps. So I'm willing to say that, you know, this is like the one map that is actually really good for Zerg in the late game. I would argue that most of the others just don't have enough bases or too campable for them to be good in the late game CPC. It's going to be Queen Banshee or Byun in this game, as we see double barracks behind. I'm wondering, as EPT Korea approaches, we're about 30 minutes out now, whether we're going to see these players start to opt into more aggressive options just so that they can be able to play in both tournaments. Now, the prize pool for this show match is $150. It's non-zero. It effectively winning this. I don't know what the breakdown's going to be. Probably 100 for the winner, 50 for the loser. Maybe 125. 125, 25 doesn't strike me right. Anyway, effectively winning this is going to give you as much as you would get second place in EPT Korea. So, as the Hellions dive in, they get a good scout, but they don't really get much in the exchange. Oh, Roach Warren built and canceled briefly for half a second, and it's gonna get built again anyway. Okay, maybe Solar just didn't like the positioning. I don't know, or more importantly, he was saying, you know, Banshee's probably maybe he saw the Banshee and said, I want to keep this out of your vision. So it looks like we're gonna see Solar. Oh, never mind. He builds and cancels the Roach Warren twice, and now there's a Baneling Nest on the way. I guess maybe he saw something that made him think that Byun was going to go super aggressive again, so you get the Roaches. But this is the third CC play from Byun. He's got Banshees. I don't even know that we can call it Hellion Banshee because, oh, well, Medevac, or the Banshee's now dead. There we go. But there are two Medevacs on the field behind this. This is actually a crazy build from Byun. If you look at it, this is hitting. So the 6-minute timing is right around the same time that a TY211 would hit, the one with Hellions in the third base. But it's 3 racks, not 2. 1-1 is on the way. It's just a couple less Marines. This is really the big deal. And of course, the TY211 doesn't expect to get all that much. Targeting 1 queen down, but double transfuse is going to be enough to keep it alive as the medevac gets rather low, has to run away. Is it a crazy Byun, or I'm just crazy? I don't know. But anyway, Byun's going to get the base. He's not going to get the drone, though. Still forcing a deny on the 4th base here. That's a pretty nice position to be. And with the queens there off creep, that one low medevac, that incredibly low medevac, well, it's going to get out. It's going to survive. It's going to live to fight another day. Although, let's be honest, probably never going to repair that, so it's probably going to die sooner rather than later. But it has survived long enough. It has found the values the biostims in. And again, trying to force energy off these queens, maybe catch them as they just dropped all their energy. There we go. That's the medevac dead. It lasted another 30 seconds. But again, trying to time out the energy on the queen so maybe you can snipe one. But there are enough lings there that it's really not going to be all that fruitful. Banelings, yeah, they don't have speed, but there are enough of them that the bio here can't get too much done onto the actual army, but they can deny creep. And as Solar is going to want to take that bottom right side position that he's posturing at as his 5th base, one thing Byun can do now to delay that and deny that and delay the creep, and more importantly, well, it's going to be fantastic news for the Terran players. Byun now stims in, drops a scan, removes yet more creep, maybe gets a Baneling for his troubles as well. But yeah, it's going to take up a little bit of time to push into the 4th base of Byun, or of Solar, but even still, denying that creep delays the 5th, and he'd already delayed the 4th base. Rather nice indeed. Lings look to try to get on top of the SCVs, but reinforcements arrive, and now Byun, this is a tough position for Solar to break. With the tanks that are sitting there, pretty much on the other side, like on the other side of this position, of this gap, of this gulf. You have to pretty much go all in to take the fight, and without the vision, it is just so hard for the Zerg to take. His 1-1 is just about done, though, so seems like Solar's going to go for that right now. Marines buffering for the tanks. Target fire there. Can he get the Banes? They're all dead, and now it's just a bunch of Marines, but still, or just a bunch of Lings, but it looks like it's going to be enough here. Target fire on the other side. The Banelings, well, they get targeted down. Byun, he's up 20 supply here. Now, the transfuses will keep these queens alive for the most part. The tanks did die, but cost effectiveness, 3,000 minerals to about 1,300, a little bit more gas. That was insanely cost effective there for Byun. Yeah, he lost the tanks, but I think he is very okay with that setup. And more importantly, or equally as important, he set up such a bulkhead here on where the creep is that, well, the Zerg doesn't feel like they will ever be able to take this position. So they're expanding on the north side where Byun conveniently has a drop. And now this tank is not in a good position. So the Bio's going to stim back as far as they can. Byun picks up, runs away. But he got the prospective 5th base there of Solar. And now into the 4th base, he will go. 6 workers will go down. He's just going to target the hatch. The Queens seems like they are slow on the uptake. Byun, he all inning for this. He gets, well, I guess this was the 3rd base. But he gets the base. And now into the high ground, he will go. There's a Spore here. And Byun wants to pull his medevacs back just a little bit. There we go. But the Spore is not dying super quickly. So Byun has to pick up, has to run away. He killed 2 bases. He got so much value. And yeah, the supply is not massively booming for him just yet, but that's because he's got this 4th base. That's because he's committing to the next level of tech. He's building 2 tanks at a time. Resources lost really tells the story of this game. I know he's going to find some queens, but target fire. Well, yeah, no, he will get 1. And maybe he's going to get a 2nd even more. He does get 2, which significantly delays the creep spread here. Solar doesn't really want to build more queens right now. He wants to build bases. He wants to build drones. He's only on 67. He wants to build Lings and Banes and Hydras and all these things. He doesn't want to build queens. Now Byun on 4 bases. Solar as well. We're really starting to see the supply start to skyrocket. Byun, he's up 10 workers with triple orbital mules. Now his 2-2 will time out right around the same time that Solar is. So we're not going to have that big upgrade timing window that we even had last game that Byun did end up losing, by the way. But the tempo lead that Byun has at this point is tremendous. Now Solar was able to get up to Hive. It cost him a lot, right? He lost his 4th, he lost his 5th base, he lost his 4th, lost a couple drones, but he is up to Hive now. So we have Adrenal on the way. We have Vipers on the way. There eventually will be Lurkers. I don't know that Byun lets Solar get to that Lurker count though. I think we're going to start to see a lot of Terran aggression unlocked on the map, especially now as 2-2 is done. As Byun on the bottom side, he will be able to deny this 5th base. Except his timing's a little bit off, but that's fine. His main army is going south side. His drop's going to find its way into where into the 4th base. That's what it was. Into the main base as well. Looking to drag Solar apart into so many spots here. This base will, by the way, you're not going to get that one. Drop there will get knocked down, or at least forced away. Drop into the main base will get forced away as well. But the pre-split Byun has here with these tanks on the backside. The one worry, of course, is the fact that Vipers are on the field. Where are they? Yeah, there they are. And they are getting their energy. So these medevacs, they're very low. I think we may see a lot of medevacs go down, and then these tanks, well, they are clustered somewhat far together, but tanks shelling away now at the gas. 6 workers have died, dropping the natural, finding a little bit more value, and the boa constrictor of Byun is starting to constrict. I know this seems self-evident, but there is now room for Solar to make the break happen. He's got a decent amount of Vipers, and the tanks, they're all clumped up. Oh, all 4 of them will get removed, at least functionally removed from this game. Now Byun has to run away. There's another blinding cloud in the tank on the backside, but those tanks, they still get some decent shots. And the drop here targeted out so many Banes. It was the best possible trade that Solar maybe could have gotten, but I am not convinced that it is enough here. Solar's getting ripped apart. 7 drones have died. The natural, it's going to take the entire army of Solar rotating back home to defend that one. He's on 53 drones. He got 5 tanks, but Byun's making them 2 at a time. It's 180 supply to 144. And Byun's building ghosts. He's getting into that next level of tech. This is not even a game where Solar's going to say, wow, my sudden Lurker transition is going to be able to bowl you over, take us to game 5. It's just not. The ghosts are out in force. We already have 2 of them. 5 more are on the way. 3-3 just about done here for Byun. He's up 50 supply. He's got his 5th base on the way. Solar's going to have to slog this game out for a long time. He's going to have to really find some miracle fights to fight his way back into this. And Byun's just waiting for all of his upgrades to round out at this point, to get that next level of tech, to get up to 10-ish ghosts, to get up to 3-3, to get his 5 command centers done maybe is a... there we go. That's an abduct. So 20 supply goes down from the drops. That is a loss that Byun can afford. Certainly now, it means Byun has a much more technical army. He lost 20 supply of medevacs and marines. He's rebuilding into tanks and ghosts. I don't know about you folks, but I'm a Terran player, like playing late game against the Zerg. I know what composition I would prefer. Byun again denies this base. Solar is functionally, I mean, he is still functionally a 4-base Zerg. He's mining a little bit off that 5th, but not really a lot. Is now, well, Byun's going to drop into a Spore Collar, so you got to back up there Byun a little bit. But Marines run forward, and this Queen is, well, it's something. Well, the drop will get dealt with. Okay. But he does trade a Bane, at the very least, and 5 workers have gone down. Byun is maxed out. I mean, so is Solar. But we look at army value here. 500 more gas. Actually, Solar's army is a little bit more mineral dense. I'm not giving Solar quite enough credit for the army he's been able to build, but he's also down 12 workers on Byun. Byun is on 5 bases. Solar only just now trying to get his 6th. And Byun also going to scan out. Yes, there are lurkers on the field. Adaptive Talons completing. Seismic Spines are done, but Snipes are going to go down. A couple lurkers die pretty quickly here. And Byun continues to push forward. The lurkers, they run and they die because the scan is still active. Byun drops the second one. So there were like 9, there were like 11 lurkers. Now there are 7. Solar, though, looking for that counterattack, looking to pin his opponent back. But a Planetary is here. It's done just in time. As the Vipers, they run forward. Tank sieging up on the back line. The Planetary will die, but the Banelings on the left side, they're all just going to get targeted down here. Byun in such a wonderful position, but getting on the high ground, a little bit scarier. His army, his supply is starting to fall just a little bit. His economy as well. 18 SCVs have fallen. Lurkers are doing what they can. Byun with the snipes, though, on the Overseers. He can pop personal. Actually, he doesn't even have that just yet. On the high ground, the Vipers, well, they're dead. The lurkers, they're dead here as well, but there's one lurker still doing so much damage. Byun has to target it down. His army getting so low. It's so low, but he knocks the lurkers. They're dead. And the Lings, they're running forward here. The supply is starting to fall. Solar looking for that miracle, and it looks like he's almost found it. He gets the orbital. That should never happen. And a Planetary died. A bunch of SCV died. The orbital died. And Solar, he resets the game. Byun trades a little bit better, of course. But Solar, through that fight, he has his 6 bases up now. He's got a 7th base on the way. He forces Solar, or he forces Byun back. And for the first time in a long time, Solar has the supply lead. $11 more lurkers on the way. Byun struggled so hard to take. I thought it was good, but it was the low ground, high ground situation. He didn't really take much damage to the Banes, but he couldn't get up onto the lurkers and get the damage he was looking for. So 2 more factories on the way from Byun, going to 4 factory now. As this lurker, yeah, this lurker's not going to get much of anything. Well, found range. It's out of tank range. Actually, this might be out of vision range too. Byun drops his can, but the tank's out of range. Oh, that's unfortunate. And Solar swings in on the right side. Only Ghost here. Tanks do not really sieged up just yet. Oh, the Ghost. The Baneling's on top of them, but it will be fine for now. Blinding Cloud's on top of the tanks defensively. Solar again runs in. He headbutts Byun. More tanks fall. Ghost sniping on the backside, and the scans are going to be nice, but there are so many lurkers here. Not enough Ghosts. We're only at 8. Lings into the natural here. Byun dropping on the bottom side of the map, trying to deny a base from Solar. But Solar has somehow dragged this game back. I don't know how he did it. He was in such a bad spot, but it's 180 supply to 125 now. The lurkers have segmented off the mining bases of Byun from his production. Barracks now falling. Command centers running away. Lings on top of random tanks rallying across, and Byun cannot get close. The lurkers are dominating everything. Now they're going to siege up a little bit further forward. There's a scan, but the Ghosts don't feel they can get range. Not the Lings here. They're going to run forward, get maybe a lurker. But all of a sudden here, Byun, it doesn't matter that he's got a bank. It's only in minerals. Solar is maxed out. He lost the bottom right side base. That is really okay. Solar continues to impress me. Ooh, he's going to lose a lot of lurkers there. He's not really paying attention. And they're going to burr up now. But that was a great trade for Byun. He got like 4 or 5 lurkers, but the Lings, they run forward with effectively 6-3 with that adrenaline. They still shred things. Another Ghost in the ground will go down. It's a pity for Solar that he does not have more anti-air, but he will still, oh, he got some medevac for 4 Ghosts in it. And now on top of the tanks here as well, getting on top of the mining position of Byun. The SCVs, they're going to be repaired, but Bailey say, it's dead. Ghosts and Marines in a corner, but they got to pick up runaway once again. Byun below 100 supply. He taps out, folks. Solar claws it back once again. The second game in the series where he was down and out, but I guess never bet against Solar. What a game. Well, we did see Byun go for a rather odd Hellbat Marine Banshee 3cc build on Waterfall. I mean, that worked out for him, and that is Waterfall is the most analogous map in the pool remaining. That remains to be played. All right, that we can play. So we might see something like that. I don't know, but certainly this is a Marine opening from Byun. It's not Reaper play. He's going to scout on the map, look for that Overlord. But Solar is doing a good job keeping it near the dead airspace. The Marines will not find that one, and well, the game will just go on now. Folks, you've heard of Goodwill hunting. This is Overlord hunting. But this is okay. So 2-on-1, certainly a more aggressive build. He's beyond feeling the clock ticking. He said, I want to play in Korea. I want to play in EPT Korea. I got to do that too. With Marines out on the map here. Again, the Overlord is still safe. As Ling will get knocked down here. This 5 Marine move out is always interesting. It's a bit spooky. Byun, he certainly seized upon this idea that Solar has been going for a 4-minute speed, not 3:30 speed. So maybe it's a little bit safer on the map, but he runs back anyways at that 3:30 time. Maybe I'm reading into it just a little bit too much. But stim, most of the way down here. So I mean, folks, you've seen 2-on-1s before. Byun effectively won a world championship on this 2-on-1 build and on his Reaper play. The game has evolved since then, and while 2-on-1s seem to be more and more popular and more powerful recently, just because of how Zergers are opening up maybe a little bit greedier. Oh, okay, Byun. For all the marbles for game 5, if you want to end the game quickly, well, maybe add some Hellbats because it's either going to win or going to lose. Although, in fairness, the game that Byun won where he did that weird Hellbat build, he ended up winning the game in, I think, about 15 minutes. So just because you go for an all-in, it may just stabilize the game. But anyway, 3 or 4 Hellions in the medevac. Marines running across the map here as well. Stim is done. Combat shields are on the way. And Solar, well, he has his Baneling nest done, but he's not morphing Banelings just yet. 26 more Lings are on the way. Solar understands roughly what he's dealing with, but he does not expect the Hellbats. And even still, though, Banelings are on the way. Queen's looking to get in position. And, well, Solar is just... Oh, he gets so much damage on the medevac to start here with Bio. Stim's on the right side. Banelings will fall before they're able to morph. One Queen is dead. Hellbats there on the ramp make it so hard for the Lings to run up. Lings looking to surround on top of everything. The Banelings come crashing on in, but the Bio is still there. The medevac is so low, it's now dead. Solar holds just about everything. Doesn't even lose a single drone. And now Byun down about 30 supply. That did not work whatsoever. Maybe he's got a second round of 7 Marines, 2 Hellions. You know, Solar is very happy with how this game has gone. But really, this just extends the game. 10 minutes until EPT Korea. Will the game end in that much time? I don't know. 3 more barracks on the way for Byun, though. I was going to say it's a 2-base all-in, but there's a 3rd command center on the way behind this. So Byun acknowledging that build did not work. He says, I'm going to go into the mid-game. Okay. I worry, though, you give a Zerg this much space. And, I mean, Solar, he took 31 drones worth of damage on the Cosmic Sapphire map due to 8 Hellions and a battlecruiser. Byun went to late game. He turtled up, and Solar killed him. He expanded. He took the entire map. Byun was not aggressive enough, and Solar said, that's fine. I've recovered everything. And once I get up to 90 drones, give me a couple production cycles, and I will be A-okay. This game is much better. Byun did not get the damage he was looking for. We look at this. He didn't get a single... He got 37 Lings and a Queen. That's not what you wanted. This scout here. Oh, man, this is such a great scout from Solar as well. He sees the 3rd base. So creep spread halfway across the map here for Solar. Now, of course, this is inside and out, and halfway across the map for your creep spread is not the most It's not the most metal-worthy thing. It's not, say, Data C, where it actually does take a long time to get that 50% spread. But still, it's half the map. Solar knows pretty much where any push is going to come from Byun. He's got creep at least one screen away from all of his bases. His fourth base is on the way. That's the one thing that is slow because he did commit so much to defend this, but certainly his fourth base will be done. Actually, it is done right now before the third base of Byun goes down on position. So Byun pushing on the right side. This is a scary tank position. Lynx have not knocked the rocks down just yet. And we're going to have to see just how much Byun is able to get done with this. He's up 10 army supply, but down about 30 workers. So he really does need to find the value. Mainly speed done in 10 seconds. That's the timing that Solar is waiting on. He's got a bit of a run by through the middle of the map here as well. But it looks like Byun's reinforcements are going to be forced that back for now. But what is now a run by could, of course, turn into a flank fairly easily. Mainly speed done. 1-1 done for Byun as well. And while the upgrades for Solar, they're about 20 seconds out, so he's probably going to wait for those 2 biostims in. But they're not quite. They don't want to get too far forward here. And Solar, we just see him waiting. 3, 2, 1. Pull the trigger here, Solar. And illuminate Byun. The sun is yours, but no, he's not doing that just yet. I thought he would. I thought he would. Okay, he's going to go now. A little bit off on the timing, but maybe he says Byun is distracted by the drop, as this tank will go down. Bailing, Byun doing his magic, trying to target fire as much as he can, but there's just too much here. A couple SCVs die on the other side to that single Ling that was there to scout out the third base position. But Byun into the main base, he stims forward, gets a couple more drones, but Solar is well positioned to defend this one eventually, and the medevac's dead, so it's a one-way trip. One-way ticket. So Solar, he's up 40 supply now, but the Liberators do arrive, and that's going to be a dead Queen. Queens go off creep a little bit too far forward. This one Ling, by the way, we're going to name it Jerry, and it is MVP. It's killed 4 SCVs. If it target fire better, we get 5. 6. This is the most value I've ever seen from a Ling. It will go down eventually, though. Unfortunate. Looks like Solar's just going to give this position up. He says, look, I am in such a good position that as long as I don't take a dumb fight and lose, I'm gonna win this game pretty easily. So I'm gonna expand north side. You take this push here, that's fine. Lings are gonna find their way into the third base. Another SCV, another set of 8 SCVs will go down. And Jerry from heaven, Jerry the Ling from heaven, saying, look what you need to mimic but a fraction of my power. 30 Lings kill 8 SCVs, and Jerry by himself killed 7. Now, we got to point out, Solar, his upgrades are a little bit distinct here. His 2-2, he's got the Carapace, but not attack upgrades. So, in fairness, Byun's pulling up Byun, and it's it's so weird to see this. No one will see Byun do this, and the Zerg doesn't miss a beat. And in general, it feels like Zergs, because of how their economy works, and because of how much more gas they tend to mine, they don't tend to miss that beat. But Solar is there as do not run around this corner troll. I don't think that's worth it. As he does get the spawning pool, Byun does. So at the very least, Solar cannot build any more Lings. He can build more Hydras, and he can build more Banes. But he's going to have to relinquish his position on the map for the moment. As the drop goes in once again, Byun's starting to find some value in this game. I mean, he has got a long way to climb back. Tanks are going to siege up here. Banelings crash into all the Marines. And that means Lings on top of tanks, but good target fire on the backside. Banelings, well, a lot of them will die, but that is a sacrifice that Solar is willing to make. He smashes Byun's army here. He opens up a position into, well, what would be the fourth base if Byun had a fourth, but he doesn't. Byun only mining off the third base here. And we can really see the fact that the Solar cannot build Lings for the moment. He's building 18. He said, well, okay, yeah, I guess I got to build 18 drones. His worker count was rather low from all the run-bys. Oh, no, Byun! 14 SCVs! And he's dead. He needs 5 minutes to warm up. So Solar, he takes this show match 3-2. What a game.